What's up, guys? Andy here. And look, today's video was inevitable. Okay, I'm wearing the right shirt. The shirt's fitting. I mean, it does fit well, but it's fitting for the subject matter of today's topic, which is my love for kale. If you've been following me for a while on Instagram, if you have worked with me, if you know me personally, you know that for 95% of days of the year, right? It's an odd day if I don't. I eat raw kale, okay? I consume raw kale for the majority of the days of the year. Now, why do I do this? Is it out of some convoluted desire to acquire the nutrients in kale because I believe it to be a superior vegetable to all others? No. Now, look, I do believe it to be superior, but not because I think it's the healthiest thing in the world or it's going to confirm me some benefits that no other vegetable will. Don't believe that at all. To understand why I love kale so much, you have to understand a little bit about who I was. It's actually quite a somewhat deep story relative to the ultimate endpoint here. Okay, so look, in my teenage years, I cared very little about nutrition as compared to now, where it's my life. Helping people, creating content. It's my passion. It's my genuine passion. It brings me the most joy possible. Back then, 14, 15, could care less. Okay, and my health reflected that. Wasn't in the best health. Okay, bowel movements not nearly as smooth and easy to pass as they are today, among a host of other issues. So at some point, I hit a tipping point, shall we say, where I came to the realization, probably through soccer, because soccer was something that propelled me to care more about these types of things. And I really learned to love soccer later in life, 15, 16, 17. And so my love for nutrition probably came along in conjunction with that. And what I realized is that I had no food skills, not much desire to spend too much time on my health, so to speak, but that I needed to start eating some more vegetables. So what I did is I arrived at the idea that, you know what, Andy, okay, the Canadian Food Guide says I need a green and red vegetable, or green and orange vegetable is what I used to say every single day. So I'm like, okay, I guess I can suck it up and have like a box of spinach and an orange bell pepper. That's why I arrived at, because what that was is the path of least resistance. I can open up the box of spinach, I can slice up a bell pepper, I can have that every day. I can turn that into a habit because, independent of the taste, I quite enjoy the texture of those foods, by the way. Independent of the taste is pretty much neutral as far as I was concerned. And so I adopted that habit, and I was very successful. I would eat a box of spinach and a bell pepper every single day. Now, I don't say this because this is what you should do, or I recommend this as a dietitian. I am just being genuine in my journey. I don't want to be dramatic in my manner of speech, but that's the way it is. What I will say as well is, like, I talked about habit setting earlier, right? And it's like this habit for me was relatively easy and relatively accessible. And this information I'm sharing today, when I work with my writing clients, I tell them there's two types of writing. There's scientific writing and there's reflective writing, right? So what we're doing here, this is a reflective video. Back to the point. So for the longest time, I would eat spinach and bell pepper daily. Then somewhere along the line, my friend Mike takes credit for this. He says he's the one who introduced me to kale. I actually can't recall, which is surprising for me because I've got a good memory. Somewhere along the line, I just grew an interest in eating kale instead. I started buying chopped kale, and I realized that the mouthfeel, the texture, the crunch was superior to spinach, and I never looked back. I mean, I switched from spinach to kale quicker than your ex switched on to a new relationship, okay? That's how quick it was, and I know that's painful, but that's the way it was, and I'm sorry to spinach, but that's just the way it played out. And so it was as simple as that. I transitioned from spinach and bell pepper to kale and bell pepper, and I've never looked back. I have eaten kale almost every single day, whether on vacation, at home. Again, a very rare day I don't eat it. I've eaten almost every single day for 5 to 10 years, and through no like intentional action, it's just it happened, and it's become such a big part of we'll call it my brand, my identity. It certainly is a part of my personal identity and professional identity, given that I am in nutrition. But there you go, guys. So like, I'm not someone who jumped on the kale bandwagon in the last few years, like. And certainly I'm not someone who looks at kale as a flash in the pan. Like I eat it, every single day or most days. And for me, it works. It's an easy way to get vegetables. I mean, I'm a much better in the kitchen than I used to be, so I have many more options than I did back then. So I don't need it for the same reason, but the same convenience it provides is there. And I'm not saying that you should go there and eat the same vegetable every single day for the rest of your life. In fact, variety is very important. Don't get me wrong. But I want to offer up an honest reflection as to why it is I love kale so much. I know it's a topic of curiosity. It's very funny because very often in my interactions with clients, if they've seen my work or my website, they'll already have a comment about kale before we even get started. They'll be like, oh, by the way, Andy, sorry, I don't like kale, as if I would take it personally. Of course I don't. Bonus points if you do, though, guys. Other than that, though, I hope you enjoyed this somewhat lighthearted video. More content to come. Other than that, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you soon.